stuff for government organizations only. Okay, and what these organizations can do is uh, they can break a lot of things for you so that government can access to some data which a normal person would not have access to those tools. But those companies, they work only for very big organizations, very big government organizations like FBI, CIA, which pay massive amounts of money to uh, give access of certain things. Okay, I don't have that file right away with me. Okay, leave it. So let's, in fact, let's configure SSL forward proxy so that you understand it in a better way. Then we'll discover the theory of it from here. There are a lot of things that we are going to have to understand in order to understand it theoretically. Okay, but I want to give you a feel of configuration so that or else we'll just, by the end of this class, we might just complete the theory and not see the practical, and then tomorrow you will be like, is this related to Cisco running configuration? Okay, people forget very fast. So no offense. Okay. So now in my case, I'll not go ahead and buy a certificate. I'll basically create a certificate on this firewall and make the clients trust this certificate. Okay, this also can be done by your organization if they are giving you all the laptops and all the infrastructure, because what they can do is they can push these certificates to the end devices using system admins. Okay, not manually, but like that can be done. Okay. Now here what I'll do is I click generate. I'm into device, certificate management and certificates. Okay, here I'll give some certificate names which you can easily identify that this is not a genuine. Okay. Let's do. See, when you check this checkbox, you are saying that Palo Alto itself is the certificate authority for this. Okay. If you select this, then the action signing authority. So I'm not going to buy a certificate for this class. I'll just say Palo Alto is itself the certificate authority for this. You can select the cryptographic settings and modify if you want to make it more secure, but it's like already a lot secure. Let's not unnecessarily increase the complexity. I'll keep it as it is. And you can add details like if you want. I'm just filling in information. Don't. It's not necessary to. Okay, you can fill in that are not required. I'm just clicking generate. Now, what does it say? It says that I have successfully generated a certificate key pair. Okay. And I'll click on this certificate. Okay. I'll check this checkbox, forward trust certificate and trusted root CA. Don't worry about what they are right now. We are going to cover them in the theory. And I'll tell you like what is this. what is this? I'll come back and forth even tomorrow to this. Okay, fine. So we'll discuss what is forward trust, what is forward untrust, what is trusted through CA and all. Because for this, you have to understand certificate chain of trust and the whole thing. So we have our certificate. Okay, and like see currently if I open, let me show you by opening websites currently, it's not getting decrypted in any way. Mm, normally people don't do that because it would be unnecessary. Okay, let me check security rules. I think. See, it's not about. I'll tell you one more thing which you don't know. If you use some kind of antivirus solution like McAfee and Avast, EVG, you know, a lot of these free versions, okay, and even paid versions. What they do is, in order for them, even like suppose I try to google.com, okay, if I do use end-to-end encryption, even my antivirus will not be able to figure out when I'm downloading viruses. Okay. Notice this. Put on a Avast or AVG free version, install it, later uninstall it. Okay, not a problem. Just install Avast free antivirus or something like that. Okay. Once you install it, check out all the HTTPS websites and check the certificate that you are getting. You'll always get the Avast certificate. Why? Because your antivirus solution will be decrypting everything. Then only it can figure out that there is a virus. I'll stop it. Are you getting the point? So it's not weird to see same certificate. Okay, even endpoint security solutions do this. Okay, let me just check quickly the security rule. I think our URL filtering somewhere blocks something. I'll remove the security profiles. I'll not go into security profiles and modifying them. And even the configuration steps are in the slide, so don't worry about them right now. Okay, so if you see google.com currently, it's verified by Google Trust Services. I'll also open something like a paypal.com and hdfcbank.com just to give you a see that certificate issued to PayPal verified by DigiCert. Okay, people drinking tea. HDFC Bank and you can use even other bank. Like I just want to show you that what we are going to do is we are going to not decrypt content of these financial websites. Okay. Now this is weird. You see here, ask Eva. Even Eva is wearing a mask here. Weird thing. Why would you make a chatbot wear a mask? Okay. So even other websites, if you open imedita.com, it's going to open properly without any issue. Okay. Cloudflare. Fine. Fine. So now what I'll do is I have the certificate. Okay. Configuration is not that difficult actually. It's just that in order to understand all of its working, you have to spend some time. Okay. So we have the certificate now. If you go to policies, okay, you can go to decryption. Okay, I'll click add, and here let's say I'll give you know, don't decrypt. Name doesn't actually decrypt or don't decrypt. Name doesn't matter, but you know, we'll say if somebody goes from inside, okay, or we can even say like, you know, any source zone, any address, any user, when they go to any destination, any address, if they are going from this URL category, if they are going from going for financial services, and if they are going for health and medicine related, in the options we'll say don't decrypt. Okay, fine, clear. So this is our one decryption policy, which is basically, you know, telling firewall what not to decrypt. I'll click add and add another one here. And now we'll say, you know, whatever. Name, you can have anything. I'll say source zone inside. I can be only specific to address any specific IP. I'll say source zone inside. If anybody goes outside, any URL category, okay, decrypt the traffic. Okay, fine. And for me, what I'll do is I'll export this certificate and make this Windows 7 machine here trust this certificate. Okay, so I'll click export certificate. Okay, let's quickly copy this. I'll rename this because you know, it was like .cert.text, then it won't be trusted because I have to, you know, rename it to .crt. Sometimes it gives you and downloads it in text file. Just rename it to certificate. Okay, I will cut it or copy it from here, and let's go to that Windows machine. Okay, I'll right click on this, click install certificate, so that this Windows machine trusts this certificate, or else it is going to give me those errors like this connection is not secure and stuff like this. Okay, so I'll click next. I'll say place the certificates in the following store browse. Trusted root certificate authority. Next, finish. Okay. So if you look at even the browsers, okay, if you look at the browser in the privacy and security, okay, it's giving you a security warning, you know, it claims to when they want to install this. Yes. Okay. So if you go to privacy and security, and in the browser, if you want to check view certificates, you'll see obviously our will be in the last. Okay. Okay, not there. Sorry, that is for some other thing. You don't import it there. You import it here in the browser. Okay. You go to your browser. Okay. Leave this thing aside. No need to install the certificate. That is for another thing. Okay. That's for VPN. You go to your browser, you click view certificates. Okay, here there is no certificate from I'll click import, go to desktop and import this. And you see here there's an option that okay, here there's an option trust this CA to identify websites, identify email users. I'll click OK. And now actually what I have done is I have made my browser trust this certificate. Clear? See, suppose now I've not committed the configuration in firewall. Let's commit the configuration on firewall. Yeah, I have not trusted it in Chrome. Yeah. There are some other ways which you can import it for everybody. Okay. I've done it for Firefox only for now.
Sudhanshu, is there any validity to expire this certificate or?
Yeah, there is a 1-year validity for this. You can see that here. It expires June 1st, 2021. You can give it even more time. If you feel like, I don't want 365, I want more, you can mention the days here when I created the certificate.
Okay, I suppose we
I
have
didn't
already.
give it, that's why it took 365 days.
Suppose we have already created, and
You cannot modify.
we can modify.
No,
We cannot
this is
modify.
all grayed out now.
So we need to install after expiration. We need to install in all client system.
Yeah.
Okay. And one thing, while creating the certificate, we have two options. One is local, and another one is the different. I think.
One is, you are the certificate authority for it.
No, no, no. The first one is certificate type is local.
Okay.
And the second one
then this is a whole different thing, SCP.
Sorry?
It's again to get certificate generally from other people. Yeah, you will have basically specify which server, where you are getting it from. You mentioned the, password. It's supported on some websites. It's again to get it from other people.
So this is also generating the certificate, no?
No, but it won't generate. It basically goes and fetches this information based on the SCP profile. Here you give it a URL. Okay, you fill in all these details. You have already contacted your CA with all the details, and if they support this SCEP, it directly firewall goes and gets the certificate from them. You don't manually export anything here.
Like we are using the third party, right?
Yeah. Okay. So we had commented the configuration. Let's check on Windows. Okay. No, see, open google.com. And if you see who has given you the certificate, it's ZZZZ Private Limited. So actually, firewall is able to decrypt all this. Yeah. Configuration is not that difficult, right? You create a certificate, you create a policy. Even imedita.com, it's going from the same. Okay, but if I do for hdfcbank.com now, it won't decrypt for that. So it's going to get genuine certificate from DigiCert. Okay, because we have made in the policy. And order matters. So don't create your decryption policy like, telling decrypt everything and then, keeping this rule below this. Because if you do this, then everything is going to get decrypted. Everything will match the first rule, right? Okay. No, we didn't. Yeah, if we open Chrome, yeah, we'll get that warning. Even PayPal.com will not be decrypted.
Can we see the content in firewall?
No. Firewall can apply all the policies. You cannot see the content.
I'm talking about the decryption, SSL
No,
decryption.
you cannot see the decrypted content. Palo Alto doesn't allow that.
Okay.
What you can do is you can, on a high-end firewall, send all of your traffic to a server, and that there are specific servers for that. Some DLP services related stuff, and on those particular things, you can, have these, to open and see what are the contents, but not directly on the firewall. I think because I imported it into the CA earlier, I had installed it directly for the whole computer. It's taking it from there. I'll just check. Here, see, I had imported it. That's why it's not giving in Chrome. Because I didn't import only it in browser. I imported it for the whole machine by doing this. If I had not done that process of installing its certificate for the whole machine, it would not have been an issue. Like Google Chrome would have given an error. Okay, but you see here they also trust. So if you import it for the whole operating system by doing this, then for every browser. If you do it by going to settings of the browser and individually importing it for that browser, then it won't be for all the browsers.
So is it required any log machines to verify this thing?
I'll show you how to verify. Okay. One of the easiest way you can verify, not even you don't need this, like I'll show you. If you go to policies now, if you go to policy, see, let me apply that file blocking profile back. Okay. in our file blocking profile, we had blocked people from downloading PDF. Remember, like here we had said PDF, you get a continue page, right? Okay. But that, or we can keep block. Okay, I'll commit it again.
Yes, it will display in a logs when it is blocking. The PDF file is blocking right there. But
Even for HTTPS websites now. Previously,
but we have
PDF for
allowed
HTTP.
but we have allowed, and suppose client is trying to download, so I can see what kind of documents is downloading or
No,
like
you cannot see. Directly from the firewall, they haven't given you the option. The problem is, if they had given you that option, it would have been a breach of privacy. You could have seen anybody's content, right?
Mhm. So what is
Network
the
engineer.
basic thing we have decrypt this.
See, we want decryption to enforce all these security profile related stuff for even HTTPS. We don't want to breach people's privacy.
We cannot see anything.
No.
We don't have any
Firewall
option.
gets visibility into the traffic, not the admin. Okay. This is for to enhance the security. Like previously, when we didn't have decryption, when I tried to download sample PDF, okay, I'll remind you, this was blocked, okay, because this was HTTP. But when I had gone to this,
Yes.
fileexamples.com, okay, when I had gone to here, and on HTTPS website, I had tried to download the PDF. It was downloading, but now it won't even allow to block, allow to download from a HTTPS website. You get the point?
Yes.
Because now the file blocking profile is applicable for every website except two. If the guy tries to download a PDF file from a financial website, that will be allowed because we are not actually looking at that traffic. Okay. Similarly, if the guy tries to download something from a health website, like maybe a report of his blood test or something like that, that content will not be decrypted, so he can download all that. I hope you got the like basic. Okay, you can also see it from the uh, firewall. That if you go to traffic, okay. Here there is an option. Okay, you will have to add this because most of the times it won't be there. If you check these checkboxes, what you see here is whether the traffic was decrypted or not decrypted. Okay. One easy way you can do monitoring, filtering here is if I click here, see, what does it say? Not flags has proxy. Okay. If I remove this, see, now it's showing me all the traffic that was decrypted. Okay, whether you went for Google base or web browsing, all of that traffic was decrypted. Okay. Also, you can open a particular packet or log from here and see it from the flags here as well that this traffic was decrypted by firewall. So this is how you verify for yourself that the traffic was being decrypted.
Okay.
Okay, and I can show you, like, again, if we go back and we disable this decryption policy. Okay, I'm not deleting it, I'm just disabling it. I'll be again able to download the PDF file from HTTPS website. And preferably when you are trying to do this, use an incognito mode, because I don't want you to have cached, you know, website information which is already there. So if you open Google now, it's not being decrypted. So if I try to download a same PDF file, like from here, I'm able to download. Okay, clear?
Yes.
I hope you got, like, what is the why we need a decryption. Okay, there is a lot of some small things that we need to understand for this, that we'll do tomorrow. Okay, also we'll look at the other type of decryption policy. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, I'll end the meeting then.